All right, he's Andy Gresh from New England Nation fame. I wasn't all that jazzed about last week against the Broncos. I am pumped for this week, 49ers. I want to start with the Jimmy G scenario. Can we go back, Gresh?
Sure.
Where do you stand on getting rid of Garoppolo, getting the 3 more years of Brady, which included 2 Super Bowl appearances and the win, versus, let's say they're in quarterback trouble here with, we don't know what's going to happen with Cam, keeping Garoppolo for 10 to 12 years.
Well, so if you keep Garoppolo, that meant you were getting rid of Brady. Anybody want to raise their hand and say, now in retrospect that he's gone, of course, I'd have done it. Dude, I'd have got rid of him a long time ago. Bullhunkus. They kept him because they knew they couldn't pay, or they got rid of him because they knew they couldn't pay him, and they kept Brady because at the time he was the better player. And you could make an argument that even at 43 years old right now, Yianni, that Tom Brady is a better player than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Do you think if Bill and Robert, or maybe just specific to this discussion, Bill, knew that when they traded Garoppolo midway through 2017, they'd only have 3 more years of Brady? So the 17 Super Bowl where they lost to the Eagles, they could have still had Garoppolo on the roster. You probably don't win the Super Bowl in 19 with Jimmy G at the QB, especially in Kansas City. But if they knew it was only 2 more additional years of Brady, would they have done that?
I still don't think so, because the math doesn't work on the money. Unless Jimmy G was willing to work with them monetarily. And oh, by the way, guess which 2 quarterbacks share an agent? Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. And what's the agent's job? It's to get those guys paid. So I just think from a New England standpoint, it was impractical to pay Tom Brady what you were paying him, which he thought was undervalued at the time, and then giving the guy behind him, say, $15 million a year just to keep him in weight. It would have been wasted money.
Right now, in the year of our Lord 2020, who's the better quarterback, Cam Newton or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Boy, that's tough. I still think for this offense, Jimmy Garoppolo is the better fit. And with Cam, it's tough because he's been injured, he's been hurt, he got COVID, so you don't really know where he's at, and they're so different. I would say the Garoppolo is the better quarterback because even though he can't move like Cam, I think the traditional passing offense that you want to run in the NFL, you can run that much more easily with Jimmy Garoppolo.
All right, good news for the Patriots. On Wednesday, they get back David Andrews, Shaq Mason off the COVID list. Obviously, we know the offensive line was a revolving door last Sunday. With practice and getting healthier, how big of a difference does that make Sunday?
Massive, because you get your guy back in the middle in Andrews, and that sets the rest of the group. And honestly, Yianni, I was ready to make the case today that with Shaq Mason coming back, even if, if David Andrews wasn't ready, keep Joe Thuney at center, find somebody else, you put Onwenu at guard, because I think Onwenu and Wynn playing beside each other do a good job as long as Wynn is the tackle. He wasn't very good against Denver playing guard, but it's massive. You get Andrews back, you can reset the whole group.
We've seen over the last 20 years, whenever people jump off the Patriots bandwagon, they usually come back with a big win the following week. Do you expect that to be the case Sunday?
Yeah, I do. Now, big in terms of margin of victory, Yianni, that's where I'm not so sure. I think they win this game, but I don't think they blow San Francisco out by any stretch. And if you look at some of the metrics for San Francisco, they want to kind of sit on the ball. They would love to have 35 minutes of time of possession and keep the offense off the field. So if the defense can't slow down that running game, which San Francisco hits you with in all different kinds of ways, then that offense is going to be on the sideline, therefore shrinking that margin for error and shrinking the margin of, okay, boys, we got to get up and get on the horse and run some offense here.
What is the biggest challenge the Niners present? Bill Belichick spoke of George Kittle like he was his firstborn child the other day.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, right? Sit George Kittle, right? I mean, didn't Belichick basically tell you that, well, we're going to load up, we're going to take that guy away and see if Deebo Samuel or others can end up winning the game for them. The biggest thing San Francisco presents is a lot of different looks, more on offense than on defense. There's a lot of motions. One of my keys this week is going to be don't window shop, where you see the women who are walking on fit doing this and looking at everything. You can't be one of those defenders. Eye discipline has to be right. You can't fall for all the window dressing that the 49ers do in their offense. And if you don't get fooled, you've got the ability to slow them down. It's been done.
All right, you said you think the Pats are going to win. What's your score?
Boy, I've been going back and forth on this one all day. I got like 28-26 New England. This thing is really close. Maybe there's like one of those cheapo, backdoor cover touchdowns that make the degenerati scream. But I think this is a close football game. The Patriots, to me, are not at the point to where they're going to extend and blow anybody out.
All right, so Pats win 28-26, but don't cover. I like that. Really.
Well, it's 2.5. That's the thing. And again, I think around here, the number might be a little different than nationally because you get a couple of big bets around here. That's really going to move the New England line. I think the sports book learned that with the Super Bowl a couple of years ago that you got to react to what's going on here locally.
The face of gambling in the Ocean State, Andy Gresh. Thanks so much for your time.